So who all thinks that 3D printing is cool? Let's see a show of hands. Pretty much everybody. Okay, who actually knows what they would print right now if they had a 3D printer? So it's like maybe 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of every, like maybe a 20th of the audience. And that's the problem with 3D printing right now. So, okay, so this is the Makey Box. It's the world's cheapest 3D printer. We've taken open source technology and we've turned it into something that everybody can afford. And we've also made it more easy to use. So, yeah, so this is what we're giving away. Well, Standard Charter is giving away. If you guys did well on your human bingo. So actually, let me just get this a little bit out of the way. Alrighty, so 3D printing. That should be a video. Can we get the video up? So 3D printing, basically any type of 3D printing is layering up material using two-dimensional drawings to form a three-dimensional object. So what you're seeing right now is a time lapse of a Makey Box making this nice little figurine head. The types of materials that are available for 3D printing right now, there's plastics, there's metal, glass, ceramics, chocolate, and I think everybody loves the idea of printing chocolate. Even medical applications, so using material to make a scaffold to grow cellular cultures on, or even looking at doing things like printing food in terms of like growing steaks or whatever you actually want. Yeah, so this is a real-time view of what it looks like. So I think everybody thinks 3D printing is cool, but the next problem is actually coming up with what will people print? And then I think the larger question is, so what's the whole point of all this? So if you look at something like this gear, which is this size, this was actually printed in one piece, and it spins. So you can see, it was printed at one time, and when we took it off, we had to kind of flex it around to break it up, and then it's able to spin. So there's certain objects like this that you couldn't actually make using traditional manufacturing methods. So that's one thing that's pretty notable about 3D printing. But there's other processes kind of like 3D printing. So CNC machining. This is something that we use in our lab to make parts for prototypes and also for small-scale manufacturing. What you see on the left here, or I guess, yeah, you're right. What you see on your right is basically the circuit boards that we use for our printers in low-volume manufacturing. We also use that same machine to make plastic parts for the printers themselves. And this seems pretty straightforward, but at the same time, this is the first time that I'm aware of somebody really using this to go from small volume manufacturing to traditional manufacturing in a kind of a smooth way. Now, we also do in-house some of our electronics assembly. So what you see here is a small oven that's specially made, but it's very affordable for putting together circuit boards. And they even have small robots that are able to put circuit boards together. And basically, you could actually do production of hundreds or even thousands of things a month using this equipment. It only costs, say, $1,000, $10,000 instead of the traditional manufacturing methods, which would cost $100,000 or $1 million. So the question is, what will people actually do with this? So this is a print that some guys at my office put together. The printer itself is actually a single color printer, but if you get really clever, you can do some interesting things. So here, they actually did a design where they stopped a print, put another color in, and did another part. But what I think all this turns into is actually a new way to do manufacturing. And it's not just 3D printing something and that's it. It's actually looking at these current technologies, 3D printing, CNC machining, and everything that I just went over, but also looking at new manufacturing methods. So taking traditional things like injection molding and looking at taking it from a size of a car down to the size of a microwave. And that starts becoming very powerful in very interesting ways. So this is a picture from Shamshui-Po. It's actually where I go and pick up my electronic components and kind of odds and ends. And so there's regular retail stores, but then there's also all these little street stalls. And you can see there's mobile phone cases, lighting, just random things that you need for around the house. But then you also have things like this hardware store. And you have to consider, how much does it take to set up something like that hardware store just in the inventory? Now, if you look at what if you're able to produce a quarter of that inventory or half of that inventory yourself using machines that you have, or maybe somebody that you know directly is able to produce that inventory on demand instead of having to buy it 1 month or 1 year in advance and having to predict what your customers actually want. Same thing with the mobile phone case guy. He has to stock probably thousands of mobile phone cases just to sell a handful every day. And the thing is, you need multiple colors, multiple types. When a new phone comes along, then the old stock actually, you don't know if you're going to be able to sell it. So instead, if you start using more flexible, scalable manufacturing methods, you can start anticipating what your customers need, but you don't have to do it months in advance. You can do it day to day. And so then all of a sudden, basically your customers can go up and say, you know what, I want my name on my case. Can you do that for me? Or I want it in flaming purple. And you'd be able to do it for them. Another really interesting thing that I think this technology is going to be good for, and what I'd love to see more local applications where people take either 3D printers or related technology, is to basically make replacement parts for stuff. We're living in a world today where everybody, something breaks just in a minor way, and everybody thinks, well, you toss it. Things are being designed to be disposable, and it's not sustainable. So I think that one of the strengths of 3D printing is going to be being able to fix things that break, but also potentially driving people to make things that can be fixed. So if you see in this photo, it's up close of the printer. All of our parts we could reproduce using either 3D printing or CNC machining, even though that we've got a mass production version that we use using injection molding. So basically, I want to challenge you guys. Go out and create your closet factories. Try to change the world one local at a time. Thank you.